and go make a difference in your world. Now on to our show with your host, Peter Mingils.
Hello, everyone. Peter Mingils here. You're listening to us on Building Fortunes Radio. It's www.buildingfortunesradio.com. For anybody that might be unfamiliar with my voice, my name is Peter Mingils. We own Building Fortunes Radio, and this is our very first radio show of the new year with Mr. Ray Gebauer. I met Ray Gebauer many, many years ago, and I was super duper impressed with him as far as his leadership, his teachings, his skill level, his examples, all of those great things. And I met him, it was so long ago. He was building a network marketing company. I was super duper impressed. And when we started Building Fortunes Radio, I invited him to host a radio show with us 2 years or so ago. And we do this every Wednesday at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. So you can catch up on this one and previous radio shows on Building Fortunes Radio. Now, this is the first radio show that Ray has done or will do in 2021 after finishing up whatever we did in 2020. And this year, I promise, will be a different year than any other year, I think, because of the backdrop and the environment that we're in. So if you're familiar with today's date, today is January 6, 2021. Interesting things have happened. I won't get political on this radio show. I'll let Ray introduce whatever he wants to introduce. But everybody has some new beginnings this year, and it's going to take some challenges to be able to work with some of the things that we've been working on. And I think you're going to have to maneuver in different directions than you've ever had to work in before. So having said that, Mr. Ray Gebauer, thanks for being here on your own radio show.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. I am so happy to be here again, as always. Have an opening opportunity to speak into someone's life, to make your life better. Because even though last year has been a down year for a lot of people and a setback, I'm saying this next year can be the best year of your life and to possibly set you up so that the rest of your life is the best of your life. And I like the word that Peter used. This is a new beginning. Now, in a sense, every day, every morning is a new beginning. Every week is a new beginning. Usually on Mondays, right? Every month is a new beginning. But when you have a new beginning in a new year, that's the time that's even more potent. And a lot of people do what's called New Year resolutions because they are resolving to do something different, whether it's to lose weight or get healthier or better shape or make more money or something. They have a resolution. So I'm going to talk about that and why I think that's mostly a waste of time and not very powerful, pretty useless, unless it's combined with certain other elements. It can be useful, but not just on its own, because you know what happens? The reality is over 90% of the people sort of give up on their resolutions within 30 days and becomes a distant memory. But every year they give it another try. Well, this year I'm going to lose 20 pounds or 50 pounds or whatever the resolution is. So why don't resolutions work? What's missing? I mean, the theory sort of makes sense. So if you're resolved and have a resolution, shouldn't that sort of empower you and sort of carry you through to the end so you can win and have a victory and a great year? So I'm going to share with you a perspective I put together in an acronym. I like acronyms. Makes things easier to remember. Sort of a way to organize information. And this is my FAST formula. And that's a good word to use at this point anyway, because it's a new year. You want to have sort of a fast start, and you want to get your income up fast, and you want to make fast progress. There's a very popular series of movies that played off fast, especially guys like speed, right? Fast. Remember the movie Fast and Furious? So that was pretty popular. People like fast. People don't like so much going slow. Slow is sort of boring. I mean, if you're going to, drive across the country, I mean, you don't want to go too fast and get a ticket, but you don't want to be going at 10 or 20 miles an hour. That's sort of boring. It takes too long. If you want to build a business and make more money, do you want to do it slow, really slow, and take your time and probably never get too far? Or you want to go fast, jump to warp speed, like they said in Star Trek. So that's possible. I mean, you can take 4 years to get to a full-time network marketing income, or you could, do it maybe in 1 or 2 years. And so let's talk about the FAST formula, the secret formula for fast success. Before we jump into just for fun and games and a few laughs and giggles, Peter, what do you think I'm going to talk about FAST? What's your best guess? Swing the bat 4 times.
I have been kind of preoccupied with a whole bunch of stuff, and I wasn't even thinking that you would ask me that question. So I will not even guess. It's only because I don't want to waste any of your precious time while you're doing this, because we have 30 minutes for this radio show, and mine would be just a best guess. But I am super interested in what you have to say, only because, always because, these are going to be really important mind control days, weeks, and months ahead, especially as a result of the political and economic and financial environment a lot of people are in. So back to you.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the first letter. Let me just prelude that by saying what's missing with New Year resolutions. The big missing piece that makes them pretty much powerless and impotent is that it's sort of it's just based on willpower, or it's sort of like a head trip, mind trip, and logic. This is what I decided to do. I'm going to get a membership at the gym. I'm going to go 5 days a week or whatever it is. And then the person runs out of gas. I mean, it doesn't matter if you have a Rolls Royce you paid $500,000 for in perfect condition. How far are you going to go if you run out of gas and you don't put gas in it? So what's the gas? What's the rocket fuel that actually will take you to the moon or the stars and make the resolutions a reality rather than just an illusion or just a wish list? Goals are worthless unless they're empowered by the right kind of fuel. So the first word in the FAST formula is fuel. You have to have the right fuel. And here's what the fuel is. It's another F word. The fuel is your feelings. Now, in our culture, we've sort of been programmed to minimize our feelings. I'm not feeling good. That's just how you feel. But really, nothing happens in your life, unless you feel more strongly about that possibility versus something else. Like if you have, 10 birds sitting on a fence, and they all decide they're going to fly away. Say 9 of them decide they're going to fly away. How many do you have left? Well, you might have all 10 left. Because you decide something doesn't mean you're actually going to do it. People decide they're going to lose weight. They decide they're going to make money. So what? Just because you want or wish for something or have a goal, a resolution, does that mean anything's going to happen? Not necessarily, and usually not, because if you don't have the fuel, you don't get far. And willpower isn't really, there's no such thing as willpower. There's no power in willing something. It sort of fakes people out. They think, I got the willpower, I got determination. But unless you feel strongly about it, nothing's going to happen. So the first component of the secret formula is you've got to feel strongly about it, because if you don't feel strongly about this and feel more strongly about something else, then something else is going to win. Because the strongest feeling or emotion always wins. I mean, think about the people who really, really want to stop smoking. They really want to, get off their drugs. They're addicted to drugs or alcohol or junk food or whatever it is, or, pornography, or they really want to stop something and they just can't because there's a stronger feeling that overpowers the resolution. So the strongest feeling always wins. So the feelings, you got to reprogram your mind so as you're feeling more strongly about whatever you're endeavoring to do than something else. So when some competing possibility comes up, and your resolution is to not eat sugar, and then you're faced with a temptation, what are you going to do? It's inevitable. You have no choice. You're going to go with whichever is the strongest feeling. So if you're feeling in the moment about, I'll just make this one exception, and if that feeling is stronger, then you have to do that. You don't have a choice. You go with your strongest feelings. That's just the way we're designed. But if you feel more strongly about your integrity, I said this, or you feel more strongly about losing weight, if that's the stronger feeling, then it's easy. You're going to go with that. The strongest feeling always wins. So so the biblical word for this that I really like sort of has a religious connotation, but all it means is changing your mind. That's the word repent. So when you repent, all it means is you're changing your thinking from one thing to another, because the feelings come out of how we think for the most part. So you got to work on, like the book, Think and Grow Rich. You don't just grow rich because you desire it or even really think it. That's just the first step. But first you have to think the right thoughts, the right mindset, the right programming or deprogramming, out of which come the feelings that you want. You can't directly control your feelings. Like if I said, okay, on 3, everybody feel sad, or everybody feel mad, or everybody feel glad, or everyone feel anxiety. You can't just create the feeling. The feeling has to come from something else. It has to have the right context. So if I tell you a sad story, and I say, now don't feel sad, you're going to feel sad anyway if it's a sad story, because the thinking is what controls the emotions. So you can't control the feelings and the fuel directly, but you control them indirectly by your thinking, by reprogramming your mind. The other biblical word I like is the Bible talks about renewing your mind. Same thing. Renewing your mind, reprogramming your mind, repentance, which just means changing your mind from one thing to another. Not only do you change your thinking, though, but if the feelings are there, then you're going to change your direction, you're going to change your attitude, change your action, and then stuff happens. Then you actually stay in the game and you make progress. Well, I used up half my time already just on the first word. Okay, well, I think that's pretty clear. So the FAST formula, you got to have the right feel, which is really your feelings and your emotions, your passion. Without the passionate feelings, you're going to sputter out, and the sizzle will fizzle. That could be so many things: attitude, action. But I'm going to use this word here: accountability. So this helps empower you to stay in the game when you create accountability. Now, when you have a job, accountability is sort of built into the structure. So you don't have to worry about that. You're held accountable. If you don't show up, they fire you. But when you have your own business or your own life, you don't have automatic accountability. But it's really to your advantage to create accountability on purpose. So here's a couple things you can do. In fact, here's 3 tips. One is go public. Tell everybody what you're up to. What is your project? What's your plan? What's the big plan for this year? And so don't keep it a secret, and then people will find out after you've done it. Sort of commit yourself publicly, which sort of creates some inward pressure that now you have to do it because you told everybody, hey, I'm going to lose 50 pounds, or I'm going to make $50,000 this year. I'm going to win this trip to Hawaii. And so you go public and sort of put your sort of reputation on the line, because now you said it. You have to come out and say it. So put it on Facebook. Here's what I'm doing this year. Watch me. You'll see. Now you're much more likely to make it happen. Doesn't guarantee it, but you've added extra octane to your rocket fuel. The second level of accountability is with another person. Maybe your spouse, that might be adequate, but probably not. You probably need somebody else, a coach, maybe a pastor or your upline, somebody where you are accountable on at least a weekly basis, where there's an agreed upon plan of what you're going to do every day, especially in a business context. So how many calls are you going to make a day? What are your goals? And then you have to have some accountability. Otherwise, you sort of let yourself slide. Now, if you were the boss and you had an employee, you're not going to let them slide. But when you're the boss and the employee of yourself, it's easy to let yourself slide. So it's really helpful to have accountability. It keeps you more empowered in the game, and it just adds more, like I said, octane to your rocket fuel. The third thing you can do visually is called Don't Break the Chain. You get a wall calendar, on paper, and then and someplace you can see it. I have one in my place where I see it frequently, and every day I write something in that day. The original suggestion was to put a big X. I sort of don't like that. It's sort of negative. So I draw like a smiley face. So you don't want to break the chain. You want to fill up every day of the calendar for that month, and really the whole year, with your symbol, whatever it is. Or maybe it could be a star or a heart or a thumbs up or plus, but some symbol or a diamond symbol, something that means something to you. And then you can visually see, hey, I've done this for 5 days in a row. I got to at least make 7. No, actually, I'm going for 30 days. I'm going to fill up the whole calendar. I don't want to break the chain. So that gives you another sort of external reason and motivation to keep going and keep your promise to yourself, to keep your resolution. In fact, resolution isn't a bad word, but it just doesn't seem to carry much weight. A similar word that I think means sort of the same thing, but I think carries more weight personally and psychologically, is commitment or promise. And those are pretty much the same as far as I can tell. So you want to say, well, I'll see what I can do. I'll give it a try. It's probably not going to take you very far. You got to take the mindset like T. Harv Eker said. I learned from him. I love this phrase. He said, over, under, around, or through, whatever it takes, I will do. So you want to be coming from a place of commitment. You're committed to doing what you said you're going to do, what you announced to the world. And you promise yourself. You promise your spouse. You promise your children. Promise somebody that's important to you that you're going to do this, and that just makes your rocket fuel more powerful. Doesn't guarantee you'll stay in the game, but it greatly increases your chances, and the odds are more in your favor. It empowers you when you're coming from a promise. When so say your mother is dying, and I remember when my mother died, and I was with her, and unfortunately she was unconscious. And I watched the monitor till her heart stopped beating. It was really sad. But if she was alive and she said, hey, son, just promise me this one thing. Okay, yeah, sure, Mom, what is it? And whatever she said, you promise me that you'll do this. And if I said yes, how much does that increase the chances of me doing it once I made a promise? So the power is in the promise, certainly not in the trying. And that is just doing, the best I can. But you got to, the commitment or promises, I'm going to do whatever it takes. If I don't have what it takes, I'll find it. I'll find someone who would help me. I'll find whatever it takes. It's like, would you let your children starve? Yeah, but you don't have any money. Well, so what? You'll do whatever it takes, right? Whatever it takes. So that's what I have to say about accountability. You've got to empower yourself with creating accountability, a structure of accountability, including making promises, commitments to yourself and to others. Okay, S. I'm borrowing this from one of my early teachers, John Maxwell. I mean, he's like an icon. He's contributed so much on leadership and influence. And I remember about 20 years ago, I got his cassette tape about Casting the Vision. Well, it was an album. And in one of the cassette tapes, he had the 3 S's. He said, if you're going to build something, you got to build it 3 times. You can't build it just once. You got to build it 3 times. And here's the 3 S's. Whether it's building a physical building or building your marriage, building your life, building your business, it's 3 S's. First, you got to see it. Then you got to say it. Then you got to seize it. So seeing it, that's like the vision. You have to, in your imagination, see the outcome and see it clearly, not just see it logically in your mind, but see it with colors and action and feeling and celebration and how fantastic you're going to feel when you achieve this objective. But you got to see it in your mind. If you're building a physical building, you got to see it in your mind first. Same thing. The S is, then you have to say it. That's sort of like accountability. You have to see it, and then you have to say it. Like, say it out loud. Say it to others. Tell everybody. Go public with it, and, say it on paper. Write down your goals, your resolution, whatever you want to call them, and read them every day out loud. And say over, under, around, or through. Whatever it takes, you will do. And so you got to say it. That makes it more meaningful, more real. It makes you more powerful. See it, say it, and then seize it. You can't just imagine and think about it. You've got to seize the day. You got to take action. You got to do something. You got to be in action every day. And here's a good adjective to add to that. Take action every day consistently. Maybe that's an adverb, but you got to do it consistently every day. And, like going back to the idea of don't break the chain, have your calendar and I always suggest a smiley face. That's what I do in mine. Draw a little circle, a couple dots for your eye, a little nose, and a big smile. And so that's helpful. Okay, I'm getting down to 5 minutes left. Okay, so F is the fuel, which is the feeling. A is accountability, that you've got to create yourself. Don't wait for someone else to do it for you. And the S, see it, say it, and seize it. And then the T is time. You've got to take time to do this. It isn't just your intention in attracting success from the universe. That has its place, certainly. But at the end of the day, you've got to put time into this. And the best way to make sure you get enough time is you need to schedule your time. Most people will not do this. It's simple. It's easy to do. Like Jim Rohn said, easy not to do. So you figure out you can put in 2 hours a day building your business. Which 2 hours? Ideally, you want to schedule the 2 hours every day in advance. Maybe the same 2 hours every day. Maybe from 7 to 9 or from 1 to 3. Or maybe it's 6 hours a day. But you've got to be putting time into what you're doing consistently. Otherwise, nothing else is going to work. You're like having a perfectly running car with no gas. Without the time, nothing's going to happen. It can be another big disappointment. And the other aspect of time is timing. This is a new year. Now it's a new beginning. That empowers you just being at the beginning of something. And it's something that's exciting. And so the timing is important for you, and you need to take the perspective that the timing is good for others. That when you share what you have with others, in many cases, it's going to be great timing for them because they need to hear from you. You have something important. It might save their life. That's what I'm doing. I'm in a business where I see myself, I'm saving people's lives. I'm making a difference for them. And so people need help. People have problems. People hate problems. I just got that recently from Big Al. People hate problems. We're in the business of solving problems. So find out what their problem is, where's the pain in the problem, and then show them how you can fix their problem. And so So timing, people already have problems, and if you have a way to solve their problems, then it's good timing for them, good timing for you. We call that a win-win. So think about timing. You may be the answer to someone else's prayer. I may be the answer to your prayer. Maybe you're looking for someone to work with who can really mentor you and coach you and guide you. And maybe your business isn't going very far or fast. It's flat. And maybe you need to look at what I'm doing and join my team so I can support you and everything else. And so it might be timing for you to upgrade to a different company. Or maybe you're fine where you are. I don't know. But, you can always reach out to me. We can have a conversation for possibilities. But anyway, timing is really important. And timing can be in your favor if you do things, deliberately and with intention. And so I think that's going to be a wrap for today. Peter, any comments or questions?
Excellent information. We're going to make sure that we put this in several different places. But, Ray, if people want to find you, how do they find you?
Well, the best way, I guess you could go through Facebook, but the best way directly is through my phone number. It's 360-206-9266. I'm in Vancouver, Washington. Again, that's 360-206-9266. You can call me or text me anytime, and love to talk to you and explore any possibilities, especially if this resonates with you. You think I can help you. And I've been doing this for 44 years. I've earned $10 million in this industry. I've had a downline of almost 1 million people. So I sort of know what I'm doing, I think, and I probably can help you. So,
excellent.
So that's my offer to you.
Excellent. So the great thing about all of this stuff during the new year, if you really want to make this a great new year, you need somebody to work with on a regular basis. So even more than just listening to a radio show, you get a chance to work with Ray Gebauer on a day-to-day basis if you're really looking for it. So you can get the help, the mentorship, the philosophy, the elbow grease, everything that you need if you're interested in building a home-based business. And this is super-duper important specifically because, Ray, we don't know what we're going to be running across, perhaps where the adjustments are going to have to be made through or somewhere during the year 2021 as well. So someone like yourself can help people make those necessary adjustments, because we do know that the course that we started on is probably going to be like the winds are going to shift and they're going to change and they're going to move around a little bit. So you're going to need somebody to be able to help guide you and support you who's used to kind of like going through those types of things as well. So check them out. If you go to buildingfortunesradio.com/Ray-Gebauer, Gebauer, you'll be able to hear him all over again. And then remember his phone number, 360-206-9266. That's 360-206-9266. And we're going to catch you next time on Building Fortunes Radio. Thank you, Ray.
Yes,
You've been listening to Building Fortunes Radio on buildingfortunesradio.com. Thanks for listening. Be sure to check us out every Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time for the designated Building Fortunes Radio segment with Peter Mingils. Be sure to check out the buildingfortunesradio.com website for our featured segments. It's been our privilege to have you listen in. At Building Fortunes Radio, we wish you the success you deserve and are willing to work for. So spread the word, tell a friend, join our newsletter, and go make a difference in your world.